Heyo, Plaidman here. So, today, I still have an empty wall over here, which I need to rectify. So sorry, but things are what they are. Anyways, work in progress as per usual. Whoa, my arms look super weird when I do that. All right, cool. So, today we're talking about Black Mirror Season 2. Yep, Season 2, Episode 1. Now, mind you, I've already seen this show. And this show, especially this season, the earlier season, because I think they're at season 6, is dated. So it's been a few years. But I want to remind those of you who are just, well, what is this? The point of this is I'm trying to not necessarily do spoilers, but talk about, for those of you who have watched or are interested in watching, generally what the show is about, and then also what is the message and the gravitas of the show. Then that's kind of what we're talking about. I mean, there's other stuff I do about like Wheel of Time and how bad a TV show that is, yada, yada, yada. I still have to do season 2. Anyways, onwards and upwards. Season 2, episode 1 of Black Mirror, which is available on Netflix. It's called Be Right Back. All right, so I love the show. I'm doing a little bit of scripting. Okay? I love the show. In this episode, it's a very slow burn. It's good. It's impactful. And disturbing. Like, the future is very disturbing. It's eerie how similar and close it is to reality and close it is to right now in the Western world. Anyways, all this stuff is kind of par for the course for this show. But this one does a very good job kind of in a subtle way. And again, slow burn, very slow. So when you watch it, you're like, wait, what's going to happen? So first I want to talk about the two main leads. Haley Atwell is the female lead. She was in the newest Mission Impossible movie. And she was in the first Captain America movie. As Agent Carter, and she was, I think, the producer, like the creator and the producer, as well as the star of the TV show Agent Carter, which I haven't seen. She's beautiful, very talented, and she does a really good job in this. I don't want to say like really, really, really good, but considering the scope of the character, she did great. Next is the dude. His name's Domhnall? I don't really know. Domhnall Gleeson. Hard name. Very confusing. Sorry. Whatever. Anyways. And I've seen him in a few things. He was in Ex Machina as like the guy who came there for the thing. If you haven't seen Ex Machina, I should probably do a movie review on it. It's amazing. It's weird. It's cool. It's very Black Mirror-esque. It's awesome. And he was also in Star Wars for, I think, 2 of the recent renditions. So I think that was like 7 and 8. Is that right? So like 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 7 and 8. Sorry, it took me a second. And he's like the redheaded, like, I will come, kind of Nazi-esque leader, just overtly aggressive. I don't really think he had a terrific arc. I don't think he was a terrific character in Star Wars, but that's what people would recognize him from. It primarily is Star Wars. Anyways. All right, so the episode effectively is husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend. We don't really know. They've been together for like 10 years. It's kind of in the future, as in they have phones, but they're not the hard phones that we have. They're very thin and agile, whatever. It's a little bit in the future. And they're moving, and clearly moving back into like his old family house for whatever reason, financial or otherwise. His mom died, whatever. And he's going to return the truck and he dies. That's just spoiler alert, he dies. And she's distraught. And someone suggests at the wake, like, hey, there's this new beta thing. And they basically take all of his online presence and compile him into an AI program, which frankly, either we have now or we're not far away from having anyways. And so he's able to text initially and then actually communicate with her, even though it's not him. It's an AI program replicating his voice, replicating how he would sound, the words he used, things like that. And then in the process of them, like, her trying to get past him dying and talking, like, I presume they don't talk about it in the show, but the AI learns more and more and more about the guy. Now, full disclosure, this is not a menacing AI thing. This is like a super, like, chill AI thing. But the implication behind it is very, very disturbing, in my opinion. Anyhow, so then in their conversations, she's like, the AI, him, because he's dead, is like, hey, if you want to, there's another step beyond this if you would like. And she's like, okay, what do I do? Because she's so enraptured by this thing. And then, effectively, they ship him a body, a replicant body of him, to be activated with some electrolytes in the water and a hot bath. And then, whoop, he comes out and he's through the cloud, he's updated, and it's your husband. And obviously there's some weirdnesses, like he can eat food but doesn't need to eat and things like that. And it's not very long until they have sex, and the sex is way the better than she's ever had with her husband, because he lasts more than 3 minutes, I guess. Ha ha ha, jokes aside. But it's weird. Sorry, this episode's all spoilers. I realize I can't necessarily talk about it without spoilers. So, whatever. So, but, you know, and fun fact, like, before he died, they had sex, and I guess she got pregnant. Which I find fascinating, that I'm like, how have you as a couple for 10 years been together and not gotten pregnant? And she's beautiful, so it's not like lack of like, oh, yeah. And there seems to be no impropriety, no like cheating around, but whatever. So she gets pregnant, and now she's, you know, got this guy. She's dealing with all the hormones of pregnancy, plus, and her husband dying, and yeah. Anyways, first thing I think is interesting, and I want to just point out, and kind of a question to the audience is, do you think that's the right play? Because it unfortunately happens sometimes where people die unexpectedly. This happens. Do you think if you had access to that technology where, oh, you could kind of have access to the loved one, talk or text, would you want to do that? Because how they play it here is she does it and she kind of closes off everything. Like she does work and talk to him, and that is it. Which I understand a lot of relationships can seem like that, but how it's portrayed is it's a bit much. It's like she's using it as a crutch to lean on, and it's not pro-survival for her. So there's that. And then she escalates it to the next thing, which is this like animatronic thing, which for all intents and purposes, it seems like she's done no real thought or concept of, just like, oh yeah, absolutely. And, you know, okay, joking aside, robot does a better job of having sex with her, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, okay, that's funny. Weird, but funny. But then there's all these other weird things that it's a robot, it does. And again, she hasn't thought about it. And I know, and what I was thinking while I was watching it again is like, oh my gosh, there is going to be so many people the world over who would like use them for just sex toys or slave labor. Why don't you go to work, replicate myself and go to work for me, and so on and so forth. And this episode doesn't really talk about any of that, doesn't talk about any of those implications. It's super micro-focused on one particular thing, which in a way I appreciate, and it kind of focuses on a thing which I will get to at the end. Which I'm almost there. Anyways, so there's just too much weirdness with this thing, and she's like, basically, I want you to shut down or whatever, like kind of remove it from the equation, the normal interaction, because it doesn't deal with normal social stuff and whatever, and it has to stay within a certain proximity of her and yada, yada, yada. Ultimately, it's not ideal. It's not really what she wants or needs. It's too broken and too weird for her, which I admire, that she acknowledges that this is not her husband, and she has this moment of like, you're not my husband. my husband would have done this and this and this, and you're not doing any of those things. And the AI, the robot's like, well, but I can do those things. And it's like, no, that's not. And it's such a beautiful thing. There's like a subtle other reference in there where she's like telling him to go away, and she remembers how her husband wouldn't just go away, wouldn't just like leave. He would like stay and resolve the issue. And I think that's like a subtle nod to how relationships actually work. And it's not a knock on women, but sometimes if your partner says to do a thing, what they actually want is a little bit of resistance so that it can kind of come to a head and come out and be resolved and handled. Sometimes it's not beneficial to just be like, oh, well, you resisted me, fine, I'm just gonna flee or go away. Obviously, you got to play it by hand. But I thought it was so interesting and like a little subtle point that relationships are complicated, and it's not just easily programmable with AI. I'm not saying AI can't do it, but they haven't succeeded yet. Anyhow, so that's kind of the whole episode. There's this cute little thing at the end where there's a little girl. So clearly she gave birth, had a kid. The kid's like 7, 8, and celebrating the kid's birthday. Kid asks for another slice of cake and goes and takes it up. And the guy's up there. The robot's up there. And, she clearly knows about the robot, interacts, but it's kind of a weekend only thing, not during the week. And it's eerie and weird. And you kind of get that, like, mom has found a way to deal with this ex-dead husband and also still include her daughter, but also understands it's weird and it's this, like, subtle thing. My overall take on the thing is that technology is not always a solution to all things. It can come across like it is. It can be beneficial, but that doesn't mean necessarily that it is a good thing. It doesn't mean that you should do that just because, oh, hey, new thing came about. It's like, well, just because it's easier doesn't mean it's better or faster or the right way. Sometimes the old ways is the right way. And sometimes you just need to like sit in your grief and just sort it out and talk to friends and family and just be like, this sucks. Let's grow from this. And I don't feel like she did. I feel like it would have been better for her to kind of sit in that and to maybe find another guy and move on and she's kind of going to be stuck in this perpetual cycle. Her daughter and whatever, and her robot husband upstairs is going to be there, and it's like she's now stuck in a trap forever, whereas she could have found somebody else to date and probably had a really fruitful relationship. But because of the technology, there's that. I also want to point out there was this interesting thing in the beginning, and it really irritated me. It did a really good job of irritating me. The very beginning of this episode, the main character, Domhnall Gleeson's character, he's like on his phone, like searching scripts, blah, blah, blah. No app, because whatever. But he's like constantly looking through and checking out stuff and liking and watching and whatever. And so much so that he's really not paying attention to the outside world at all. Like at all. She comes out, it's pouring rain outside, she's got coffee, knocks on the door, he's not even aware because he's listening to something. And finally he's like, oh, yeah, okay, cool, opens it, sorry. And she has to tell him, like, hey, phone in the glove box, so he won't look at it because he's so focused on this phone. And I thought it was a very subtle nod to how much we today are in that. And I know myself, my wife complains, not constantly, but enough, that like, hey, you're always on your phone. And I am trying and making efforts to be like less on my phone, especially when I'm around her, so that I can enjoy the moments with her. Okay? So that was all very serious. There's this joke I thought of after watching this, and I thought it was so funny because while it is not this woman, not her character, I thought it was relevant in like a jokey, silly way about women in general. So it is just a joke. I'm going to read it, and you're welcome. Or you hate it, and you're not welcome. I don't care. So there's a husband store, all right? A store that sells husbands, and it just opened in New York City, where a woman may go and choose a husband, right? Among the instructions at the entrance is a description of how the store operates. You may visit the store only once. You may choose any man from a particular floor, and you may choose to go up one floor. But you cannot go back down except to exit the building. So those are the rules, okay? So, woman goes to husband's store to find a husband, right? On the first floor, the sign on the door reads, "These men have jobs and love the Lord." Okay. Oh, wow, this is a weird version of this. Okay, we can do without the religion. Sorry, there was a different joke in here, and then somebody just added this. Whatever. But these men have jobs. Good. The lady's like, oh, okay. I wonder what's on the second floor. Cool. This second floor sign just goes up to the second floor. Second floor sign says, "These men have jobs and love kids." And the woman's like, "Oh, wow. Well, that's amazing. That's clearly better than the first floor because those guys just wanted jobs. I had jobs. So, all right, well, let's see what's on the third floor, right? Third floor. These men have jobs, they love kids, and they are extremely good looking." Wow. Wow. Have jobs, love kids, extremely good looking. Most women would be like, "That we're good, right?" But this woman was like, no. There's another floor. Let me go up to the other floor. All right. Fourth floor. These men have jobs, love kids, are drop dead good, gorgeous, and they help with the housework. I mean, winner, chicken dinner, right? And she's like, "Oh my gosh, but there's a fifth floor. Like, how can this get any better? Maybe he's a billionaire. I don't know. There's a fifth floor. There's one more floor. Like, I got to check it out. This is the fifth floor. I'll check it out." Oh. On the fifth floor, these men have jobs, they love kids, drop dead gorgeous, and they help with the housework, and they have a strong romantic streak. So you have Don Juan and all those other things. Gorgeous Don Juan who helps with housework and loves kids and has a job. So win. Last but not least, there is one more floor. And I mean, I don't know. Again, all those things plus a billionaire. Based on what we've seen, this should be it, right? This is the final floor. We like even numbers here, so let's go up to the sixth floor. Goes in the elevator, pushes the 6, goes up to the 6th floor. There's just a sign. "You are visitor 4,363,012 to this floor. There are no men on this floor. This floor exists solely as proof that women are impossible to please. Thank you for stopping at the husband store. Watch your step as you exit the building. Have a nice day." And that's it for today. Love you all. Talk to you soon.